Poetry. Reading. Oh, I get the countdown started. Now that's better. Good morning. Welcome to the poetry studio this morning. A nice peaceful lead into the poetry studio. I kind of like it. As my camera is being weird. Good morning, good morrow. Good morning, good morrow, LJ Gibbons. I was listening to some. Oh my goodness! Read a poem. Scrungle Bee Fungus. Alex 5K is in the chat. Welcome. Oh, it's so good to see people here already. It's just literally just launched, and Cynical Chill as well. Good to see you all. Welcome back to the stream. I've got to go digging for Scrungle Bee Fungus again. I should keep that one on lock, knowing what it is a favorite for the community. Well, good morning. Welcome everybody to the poetry studio. I did find Scrungle Bee Fungus, so we'll read that in a minute. This morning, I figured I would kind of change things up a bit and do more reading rather than writing, because I wanted to. I was doing some spoken word studies over the past month. I did this class. It was a 3-week class. Believe it or not, Cherry Hazelnuts was the one that got me to sign up for it, and it was great. And I'm going to read some Maya Angelou, because we were talking a lot about kind of the African American experience in poetry and what she brought and what others brought to the conversation. And I was like, wow, I haven't read a lot of Maya Angelou. So that's the great thing about these mornings, is I can use them to either create or to entertain, and to definitely read Scrungle Bee Fungus, but also to be able to learn more for myself. Poets that I have not actually gotten a chance to really read enough of. And believe it or not, I have not read enough of Maya Angelou for me to feel comfortable with that. But since we do have a redeem on the chat, we are going to read Scrungle Beef Fungus, which is a fan favorite here for Alex 5K Cynical Chill. I think that was like, it's been almost 10 months since this poem was written. Actually, no, it has not been almost 10 months. It has been precisely a little less than 8 months, because I have a date on the poem, and that date is the 25th of July. You can see that right there. Maybe it'll come out. Hopefully it'll focus. But if it doesn't, that is the 25th of July that we wrote this. So let me bring down our desktop audio. So a little background on the poem for people that are joining in and have not have not heard this before. I was in a fun way. I was pranked by a couple of streamers. We had all had a good time with it, where they came in and they told me that they had a very favorite childhood dish called Scrungle Beef Fungus. And I actually Googled what Scrungle Beef Fungus was, and it turned out when you Google Scrungle Beef Fungus, you come up with mushroom, like basically mushroom beef stew. And apparently a lot of people actually like this. So here is the poem. Grounded is the actual title of it, about Scrungle Beef Fungus. The very aroma of home and its table, plenty with memories of mother's cooking, father's snoring, and sibling rivaling. To the table the mystery mushroom majesty arrives. Scrungle beef fungus, creamy ooze of delight that brightens with every soothing bite. These round caps and cow backs take us back to the herd of the heart. A childhood home, one spoonful at a time. Grounded, celebrating the wonderful Scrungle Beef Fungus. And I think that since it's been requested enough, I'm going to probably take this and I'm going to frame it and I'm going to tag it right over here. And if you ever do want the original, Alex, you're more than welcome to let me know. We have a request for a commissioned haiku today. We are going active. I may, and I'll be glad to. I may have to push Maya Angelou's readings off to tomorrow. We will do a Team Fortress 2 haiku. Oh, this is great. Well, thank you guys so much for being here this morning. I hope you've all been well. I hope life is treating you well and that things have been good. And I think I might write one or two haikus, because I'm definitely interested in I'm intrigued by that. All right, I just need to get the number right now. The trick with haikus is you have to get the sequential number correct. There we go. We're at 171, 186, 187. There we go, 187. So 188. That's why I need to put this on. I think it's 180. Oh, 189 is actually next. Oh. Except if I destroy it. All right, let's bring back some of that music while I work on a Team Fortress 2 haiku. Sweet and savory, says LJ Gibbons. Now, one of the things that I absolutely need to do here is I need to get a new typewriter onto this desk. I love this Olympia, but I meant to test this Olympia out for like a week. It's too big. Like, it's sitting on my desk and I love it, but it is so big. Malvern the Witch. What happens if you make a spelling mistake? Well, there's two things I can do when I make a spelling mistake. One is to live with it and have to contemplate my disastrous existence, wherein I must always be within the confines of an imperfect reality. Or I can try typing over it. Or I can try whiting it out if it's on a white sheet of paper. But usually it's the first one. One of the things that has happened in doing typewriting poetry, so when I started this, and even if you go back to Scrungle Fungus, Scrungle Fungus has decided to take a walk. Oh, there we go. Well, Scrungle Fungus actually was good first shot, but there was another one that I wrote on that day, or a day around it, called Beasts of Burden, which is a was a dedication to a donkey, because one of these hooligans told me that they were a donkey herder all the way from Afghanistan, and that they wanted a poem, and I was very honored, but then it turned out they were not. But anyway, I wrote a poem about donkeys, and I'm gonna see if I can hold this up. Oh, I gotta switch my main camera. Over here, let's wait for it to focus. Come on, camera, do your thing. So on that first line, that's the first line you see from the icy islands. I definitely typed the letter N or something else there, and then I had to retype over it. So that's what I usually do, and it usually is okay, because I don't know if you ever did this trick when you like if they ever saw this psychological trick, but there's this psychological trick where if you put the first and the last letter of a word and then you jumble a lot of the letters inside, oftentimes people will be able to still understand it. So that is why that tends to be okay. Team Fortress 2. Oh goodness, I'm trying to remember all my I'm trying to remember all my references now. LJ Gibbons said, asked my mother to dig out her old electric Smith Corona, only to find some of the keys don't work. Still fun for the clickety-clack. And that is definitely, yeah, no, I have a couple of those old electrics. That's great that she has one, but yeah, electric repairs are a mess. Malvern the Witch, welcome to the stream. Definitely give us a follow. If you ever have a morning where you're interested in requesting a poem and sticking by, feel free. Otherwise, thank you so much for swinging by when you did. Really appreciate it. I for one, knowing my own experience, nobody should ever feel obligated to be in the chat. Thank you so much. All right. Team Fortress 2. We gotta get this. The Great Donkey Harvest. Yes, you read it the same. That's why I find palindromes so interesting. What were you referencing? With that, the palindromes. I'm trying to think back with the. I was trying to think back what I said with the palindromes. But yes, you're right. Not even going to try and fix it. Yeah, I mean, it could be something simple, but you never know with those things. The manuals, on the other hand, are very, very fixable. One of these mornings, I should do a fixing stream, but not regularly. I tried that. I actually had a sub-show within the Twitch where I was going to do repair work. That just didn't end up panning out. Classic cosmic fights. There we go. There is a Team Fortress 2 theme. I feel like that's a call for a series there. Cynical Chill. One of these days I could do an entire episode dedicated to Team Fortress 2 haikus, because you have all the different classes and you have, you know, all of them. Oh my goodness. So this is a haiku in dedication of Team Fortress 2. Classic cadre fights. Pure chaos spells out our might. Checkpoint is all right. You saved the checkpoint. But I love the, and you know what it is I'm actually frustrated with myself because I'm trying to remember the name of the game in which you have to move the cart along. What is that called when you have to move the cart along? Because those were always, oh my gosh, those were, I'm literally like having like a stressful experience remembering those, because the cart was just like a gauntlet of death. Payload! Payload. All right, now that you've told me it, I have to write the haiku about payload because it's calling out to me. The gauntlet of death that was the cart in payload mode. Oh my goodness, those day moments were crazy. So if anybody's not sure what we're talking about Team Fortress 2, the video game. I am writing haikus in dedication of the video game. It basically was a very cartoony version of, don't shoot me for using this metaphor, but Call of Duty. Extremely cartoony in terms of the you know, like the explosions and all the guns and shouts and everything, but it's a lot of fun. Okay, let me get music back. I got it in my middle line. Did I already? Ah, good, I didn't use this one. I just...
I just laughed at my line. Oh my gosh, that line is just... I hope people don't take these out of context. I want to, disclaimer, I'm issuing a disclaimer, a general disclaimer that I am not in favor of violence. This is a video game haiku. I have to disclose. Okay. A haiku in honor of the payload levels of Team Fortress 2. The payload creeps slow. Send our best to quickly die. Bloody choo-choo delight. You could take that two ways. You could take it that it's like, it's a bloody choo-choo delight, or it's like, it's a bloody choo-choo delight. Oh, that's funny. Oh, I got a kick out of reading that one. Well, thank you so much, Cynical Chill, for the request. For those of you that came here expecting Maya Angelou, we had some requests for poetry, and we may still read some Maya Angelou, so sometime here. Alex 5K is asking, did I play RuneScape? I did not play RuneScape. I watched someone play it for like an hour, and I was like, okay. And so I never ended up doing it. Yeah, and as always with any of these, if you whisper or message, if you're comfortable with it, of course, you don't have to, but if you whisper or message your address, the cool thing about the haikus is on the back of them, I can type out an address, and I can put it in the mail, and they do get to their destination. The poor people at the post office are probably like, why am I mailing an index card? But if you can mail a potato, you can mail an index card. You can mail anything, actually. As long as you can stick an address on it and enough stamps, and you're good. But no, I never did end up playing RuneScape. So, but something that I can do, and something that, something that one day I may end up doing or not. I haven't actually played video games in a while. I played a video game a little bit last month, which was this open source. It was not open source. It was like it was a RTS. It was pretty good. But I have other more important things going on. Multiple projects that I'm involved in now, so I don't do that as much anymore. Let us read, since we did put it in the title, let us read at least one Maya Angelou poem. And I think I've got a good one that, and I haven't read these, to be perfectly clear. I have not read these. What I've done is I've done a scan of them to make sure that they are appropriate for young audiences, since sometimes when LJ's here, his kids are on the stream. So LJ, shout out to you and your kids. And LJ, I did watch the first video off your YouTube channel last night, and I was really impressed with the music. So if you ever want to feature that, let me know, and we can play it on the stream. But I want to get your permission for that first, of course. So what I'm going to read is a poem that the poem called A Brave and Startling Truth, which was a poem that was put on the Orion spacecraft, one of the few spacecrafts that have actually, I think, where is it? Which flew on an Orion spacecraft, which I don't know if that's one of the spacecrafts that actually left our solar system, but it was definitely, there was something about it where it was important that it went to space. Maya Angelou, for those that don't know, very famous, very well-known African-American poet, lived from 1928 to 2014. I don't know if she was part of the Harlem Renaissance, but she was definitely related to it in terms of just an amazing creative artist. And what's interesting about poetry from these types of individuals, like famous poets, people that are very well known, is a lot of times we encountered them in classroom settings, and so we kind of sometimes roll our eyes at them. We go, this is an important poem, I didn't know about, thing. But when you actually sit with it in a more proverbial setting like this one, they get sharp. Like I found that with the Emily Dickinson poems. Emily Dickinson is savage as hell. Like she's savage. She's freaking mean sometimes in a good way. Like she's cuts to the quick of it. And you're like, well, it's Emily Dickinson. She's, you know, it's old dead poet. Like, no. Like, when poetry has this, what do you call it? When poetry has this, what's the words I'm looking for? Poetry has this resonant quality that it sticks with you. And when you take it out of its like analytical setting, and then you just get to like almost like as if the poet was sitting there reading to you, it's like, wow, that's pretty deep. And then you hit it. Jenkins Generic has redeemed Take Off the Hat. Well, I just got a haircut, so you're in luck. The hair's good. Thank you. We will take that hat. We're just gonna tuck it right off of there. Right, probably today. So let us shift over. Thank you. Let us shift over to our desktop. Yeah, it's still a powerful poem. So, but it's not one that is explicitly profane, but it's powerful. All right. All right, I will try that. Well, like you're not going to see me; you're going to see the poem itself, so you can kind of foresee it. Control Shift B. Let's see here. I want to make sure this works. All right. I got to wait a minute for it to confirm that it works on my other screen. There we go. All right. This is a brave and startling truth. It's a long poem, so settle in. We, this people, on a small and lonely planet traveling through casual space, past aloof stars, across way to indifferent suns, to a destination where all signs tell us it is possible and imperative that we learn a brave and startling truth. And when we come to it, to the day of peacemaking, when we release our fingers from fists of hostility and allow the pure air to cool our palms. When we come to it, when the curtain falls on the minstrel show of hate and faces suited with scorn are scrubbed clean, when battlefields and Colosseum no longer rake our unique and particular sons and daughters, up with the bruised and bloody grass to lie in identical plots in foreign soil. When the rapacious storming of the churches, the screaming racket in the temples have ceased, when the pennants are waving gaily, when banners of the world tremble stoutly in the good, clean breeze. When we come to it, when we let the rifles fall from our shoulders and children dress their dolls in flags of truce, when landmines of death have been removed and the aged can walk in evenings of peace, when religious ritual is not perfumed by the incense of burning flesh, and childhood dreams are not kicked awake by nightmares of abuse. When we come to it,
Then we will confess that not the pyramids, with their stones set in mysterious perfection, nor the gardens of Babylon, hanging as eternal beauty in our collective memory, not the Grand Canyon, kindled in delicious color by western sunsets, nor the Danube, flowing its blue soul into Europe, nor the sacred peak of Mount Fuji, stretching to the rising sun, neither Father Amazon nor Mississippi, Mother Mississippi, who, without favor, nurture all creatures in the depths and on the shores. These are not the only wonders of the world. When we come to it, we, this people, on this minuscule and kithless globe who reach daily for the bomb, the blade, and the dagger, yet who petition in the dark for tokens of peace, we, this people on this mote of matter, in whose mouths abide cantankerous words which challenge our very existence. Yet out of those same mouths come songs of such exquisite sweetness that the heart falters in its labor and the body is quieted into awe. We, this people, on this small and drifting planet, whose hands can strike with such abandon that in a twinkling life is sapped from the living, yet these same hands can touch with such healing, irresistible tenderness that the haughty neck is happy to bow and the proud back is glad to bend. Out of such chaos, of such contradiction, we learn that we are neither devils nor divines. When we come to it, we, this people, on this wayward floating body created on this earth, of this earth, have to power to fashion for this earth the climate where every man and every woman can live freely without sanctimonious piety, without crippling fear. When we can come to it, we must confess that we are the possible. We are the miraculous, the true wonder of this world. That is when, and only when, we come to it. That was Maya Angelou's A Beautiful and a Brave and Startling Truth. LJ says, I hope that ripples out, my good man. I hope so as well. A very deeply inspiring poem. And again, to completely just be candid here, these are my first reads of these poems. I fell in love with poetry in high school, but I mostly came from it from kind of the European Romantic side. Most of the poetry that I do kind of know is more classic, William Blake-ish, that type of stuff, Tiger, Tiger, Burning Bright. So when I discover new poetry, when I read new poetry, I'm deeply inspired, of course, but like, it's really cool to discover it with you guys. So, thank you all so much for being here. I hope you all enjoyed that reading. I hope you all enjoyed the shenanigans previous of Team Fortress True Haikus, which we now have. Team Fortress True Haikus, if you ever needed such a thing. Fool Killer, good to see you. Shout out to everybody that was in the chat today. Again, I'm more than glad to have you here if you're just lurking or vibing in the back, but we have here LJ, Alex 5K, Cynical Chill making their return. They were some of the first people that were supporting the stream way back in streams like 20 or 30, so thank you again. Jenkins Generic decided to have me strip off my hat. Malvern the Witch had reminded me of the existential crisis that is misspelling, and Fool Killer, as always, with his persistence greeting. Thank you again all for being here.
These shows have been tending to run about a half an hour long. They are it's a fun little show to be able to do. I'm shortening it a little bit just because I have a lot more that's usually going on during the day, and I have to kind of get started right away. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being part of the stream, Cynical Chill. We are going to end our stream today by just going to close out today. I think that's what we'll do. So thank you again so much, and have a wonderful day.